guys, my name is Christina, and today I wanted to talk about what my experience solo traveling as a Black woman has been like. I have traveled to 4 countries in total by myself. I've been to Ghana, Bali, Thailand, and Mexico, all by myself, solo traveling as a Black woman. And I usually get a lot of inboxes and DMs asking me what it's like traveling solo. Am I scared? How did I get to the point where, I felt comfortable to go ahead and book a flight by myself? So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today and what I found, the pros and the cons to be of solo traveling in general, and what it was like as a Black woman in each of the countries I've been to. I'll start with Mexico because I just came from Mexico in August. And I would say as a Black woman, it was fine, honestly. I think I went to Tulum, and you guys probably know Tulum has been a hot spot this entire year, especially for Black people. So they've been seeing melanin everywhere. So I don't think it was anything different for them, really. Everyone seemed very open and welcome towards me, at least. I didn't have any weird situations happen in Mexico. It seemed like they were used to Black people by now, honestly. So that was fine. And solo traveling around Tulum, I'll say, because I can't speak for the entire country of Mexico, Tulum is really small and it's very touristy. And I think that makes a great solo travel destination because there's always people around. Everyone is speaking English for the most part. There are a lot of Americans there. So, it's not scary at all. It's just like your normal everyday walking around, shopping, eating. So I didn't find it to be awkward. I'm really good at enjoying my own company anyway. So overall, Mexico was fine. Now, Ghana, I went to Ghana by myself. This was like my first time really ever traveling by myself, is when I had to study abroad in Ghana last year, which if you haven't seen my vlogs, go watch them now because I vlogged my entire experience pretty much. And that was amazing. Just being in an obviously all Black country for the most part, that made me feel amazing. Not having to worry about racism, gun violence, looking over my shoulder constantly, worrying that if I was mistreated, if it was because of the color of my skin. And honestly, I felt at home in Ghana. It felt really good to, once again, just be around Black people, people that look like you, and not have to worry about if that was a big issue for other people. So I loved my experience in Ghana. As far as the solo traveling part, so even though I was studying abroad, I went by myself. Like, I was the only student from my school that went to Ghana, I believe. And especially that program, I was the only American. So it's not like I had anyone else. It was really just me, myself, and I. And I definitely think Ghana can be a great solo travel destination, but it does require a lot of, I think, hyper awareness and just being aware of where you are constantly, just because you can get, I will say, tricked. Same thing with Mexico as well. If you're by yourself, people definitely might try to like upcharge you more and stuff like that. So just the basics. But overall, pretty good vibes. Bali is still my favorite solo destination. I would go back to Bali 10 times over again if I could. I think Bali is such a warm, welcoming space, especially for Black people. I think it's a great solo travel destination. I think that even though I know Black people have been going to Bali more like over these past few years, but I did not once feel out of place. Only got asked to take a picture with, I think once, and it was in the main area, and people look at you like, oh, she's Black, but it's not awkward or uncomfortable. It's like they're genuinely happy to see that you're in their country, and it's not every day that they see a Black young girl by themselves. So Bali was great. 10 out of 10 recommend. I would go back again 100%. Thailand is the country that made me feel like, okay, yes, you are Black and they know it and they want you to know it as well. Thailand was, even though I only spent 4 days in Thailand, it was very just apparent that they don't see Black people every day. Like Bali, they don't see Black people every day, but they weren't so like in your face about it. Thailand, it was like, can I have a picture with you every 5 seconds? It was laughing, staring. Oh my gosh, it was like, okay, I'm definitely in a different country, and they definitely do not see Black people all the time. But the way that I handled that, I just take things like that as a learning experience for both me and them. So I think traveling while Black is so important, and I want more people to get out there for this reason. There's a lot of stereotypes surrounding Black people. Whenever you go travel to a country where they don't see Black people every day, this is your opportunity to change the narrative, pretty much. So people are staring at me, people are laughing, and do I get mad or do I just simply smile, take the picture? I know there's a lot. Should I let them take a picture with me? Should I not? I'm not an animal. I'm not something at a zoo or a museum. But once again, they don't see Black people every day. A lot of people around the country, kind of the only time they see Black people is through like the TV, movies, or what they hear from other people, which may not be the best thing. So I just always use it as a learning opportunity for both them and myself. Overall, Thailand was pretty chill though. Everybody, the people were so warm and so nice. It was just very, like, I don't know if I could live there type of thing because of the constant, it does get old, like, oh my gosh, she's Black, haha. But overall, it was chill. I would definitely go back for sure. I plan on going back soon. And Thailand was chill. Solo traveling there, I think it was, where I stayed at in Thailand, there was a huge language barrier. I will say that. There wasn't many people around me that spoke English. But that honestly made it 10 times fun for me because I was on Google Translate, you know, looking up the translations. And then in Thailand too, it's not like they're written out in letters, it's symbols. So that was new for me, and it's just all a learning experience. As far as the pros and cons go, I'm gonna start with the cons so I can end this video on a more positive note. But the cons, I would say con number one is probably just having to be hyper aware all the time. For me at least, and I noticed this is carried on into like my normal life here in the States, where I'm always aware of my surroundings. And even though this is a good thing to be aware of, sometimes I want to relax. And you know, when you're always on edge, it's just kind of like nothing is wrong, but you feel like something is always wrong, or you know, you gotta watch out for everybody. Are they trying to scam me? Are they trying to take me? So that's the downside. Like, at least if you had another person with you, you guys can account for each other. But when you're by yourself, if you come up missing, which you will not, it's just kind of like, okay, it was you, yourself, and I, unless you have people tracking you. So that's a con, just having to be on edge all the time. The other con that I have found is your stuff at the airport. I think that is the worst thing, especially for me, because I try to always go to a new airport whenever I travel, and I love seeing like what stores they have, what shops. Some airports are very different. They have like different touring programs and stuff, but I have to take all my stuff with me if I want to go to the bathroom. For me, when I travel, checking in my bag is the best thing ever because I feel like, okay, I have less of a load to carry around. But that's the only thing. Like, if someone else was with you, once again, they could just account for your stuff. But I mean, it's not a big deal really, just take the stuff with you. But sometimes it does get very annoying, like you have a long layover or something. So that is another con for me personally. The third con I would say is being upcharged because you're a solo traveler. I didn't feel this so much in Ghana or Mexico. Mexico was really accommodating actually for solo travelers. I will say in Tulum, there's no extra charges. It's just the charge is the charge. Bali will let it be known that if you are a solo traveler, they are going to get their coins from you for not having another person. I guess I understand why, because if it's more people, more money, but it does suck. Like, Bali was really taxing, okay? I had to pay so much more because of transportation. Remember, I wasn't staying in an area where I could just use Gojek, which is like the motorcycle services that are like $1, and I did not know that. So I had to hire a whole driver, which was say $25 to go this place, and it added up very quickly, and I did not account for that expense. So definitely, if you're gonna travel to countries, I would do research, talk to people that have been there, and ask them if they've been, if there's any extra charges for solo travel, or even if you see activities, please ask, because I got charged a lot in Bali for it. So yeah, that's another con, just spending more money because you're by yourself. But I mean, it's okay. At the end of the day, the experiences that you'll have will definitely outweigh that. So it's whatever, it's just annoying. My last con would have to be just the natural fear of going somewhere by yourself. Like, I guess this is really with anything in life. If you're somewhere by yourself, you're just naturally scared. You don't have someone with you. Oh my God, is it gonna be awkward? And are people gonna stare at me because I'm by myself? And I can tell you right now that nobody cares what you're doing, okay? As much as we as people like to think people care, they really don't. No one is gonna be staring at you, no one. And if they do, it's like they're just looking at you. Oh, she's by herself, cool. And then a lot of people even spark conversation with you. I've had that happen to me in every single country where people ask, am I by myself? Some people say, like, don't say you're by yourself. Me, I use my judgment. There's some situations where I do not tell people that I'm by myself. I say I have a friend who just didn't feel like going out. And then there's some situations where I just feel good about it and I'm like, yeah, I'm by myself. You'll know. That's the best way I can put it. You will know when you're in the situation if you trust whoever you're speaking with that information. But other than that, just that natural fear, that would definitely be a con. Because if you're with someone else, you would just go with that person, have a good time, be laughing, whatever. So that, I would say, is definitely another con for me. And now that we're done with the cons, I'm gonna go into the pros. So the first pro of solo traveling, as everyone says, is that you are in control of your trip. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. You are only accounting for yourself. And for me, I really feel this pro when I'm planning a trip because I can plan my dates. I'm a college student who, even before COVID, I was taking online classes for this specific reason. Like, I do not like being tied down to a class. When I want to go somewhere, I want to go. I don't want to worry about if it's gonna fit in with my biology class or whatever. So with that being said, a lot of my friends are also college students who do not have as much of a flexible schedule, so they can't just get up and go, you know. They really count on those spring and winter breaks, whereas I can literally leave and get up any day I want. And that's hard because if I'm trying to plan a trip with someone, it's like, okay, they can't go because of this reason or that reason. Whereas if I'm by myself, I just book my dates and I'm done. If I have a place I want to stay at, I don't have to double check with someone else and see if they would feel comfortable staying here. I love staying at super local places because it's a chance for me to immerse myself in the culture even more. Whereas I know for a fact, a lot of my other friends would just be like, I don't want to stay here. Like, I want to go to a villa or something really grand. Which is fine, but you know, it's just difference in travel styling. Once again, that might bump heads. So when you're traveling by yourself, you don't have to worry about those second opinions. You can just go ahead and do whatever you want, really. You're in control. I know when I was in Mexico too, I booked a last minute weekend trip to Playa del Carmen. I literally woke up one day and I was like, you know, Tulum's been cool, but I want to see something else. And I booked a hotel, I called the driver, and I just went for the weekend. If I was with someone else, I would have had to double check and they might have not liked that I did that. So it's just things like that. You're in 100% control of your trip and the experience that you want. The second pro I would say to solo traveling is that it's a chance for alone time. I come from a very hectic household. I grew up in a very loud household. So for me, my alone time is very important. And also, when you're solo traveling by yourself, you're gonna be so much more open to different experiences and meeting new people as if you were with someone. When you're with people, I do find people aren't as open. It's not that you don't want to be, but you already have someone with you, so you're not as willing to hear this person's story that you just met. You're like, okay, this is a stranger I'm never gonna see again. But when I'm by myself, I really listen to everyone around me and they listen to me, you know, and I just say yes to everything because why not? In Ghana, I did so much things that I would have not done in the US, but those are what really make your experiences. Just being alone and being in tune with yourself, being able to hear yourself think and tune out all of the outside noise is priceless when solo traveling. And the third pro that I'm gonna say out of the many that I honestly have is that you will become so much more confident when you solo travel. So first of all, people are gonna be telling you, do not go because it's dangerous, it's not safe, whatever. But once you actually take that leap of faith and it sinks in that you are about to go to a whole different country with a whole different currency, knowing nobody, and you did that, like once you're in the country, you already did it. Whether or not how long you stay doesn't even matter. You did that. and no one can take that away from you, and you will feel so confident being able to navigate an entirely different country by yourself. Like, no one is going to be able to tell you anything. It sounds so crazy when you say, hey, I'm going to Bali by myself. Every time I told someone that, they were very discouraging and like, what do you mean you're going to Bali? No, you can't. And I did that. I flew halfway across the world and I went to Bali, and I figured it out, and I had the time of my life by myself. A lot of people feel like, well, how did you have fun by yourself? You just have to enjoy your own company. And I think the way, for me, honestly, I'm very introverted. Even though I seem like I'm an extrovert, I'm really not. I'm an introvert, so I really value my alone time again. So eating by myself, I find that very peaceful at restaurants. So that's something I started doing a lot whenever I went into college. So I always tell people, work your way up to solo traveling to gain that confidence to go ahead and go, start eating out by yourself, start getting dressed a little more nicer to go out by yourself. Not just a casual restaurant like Panera or something, but like go out to some fancy restaurant like Olive Garden and just get done, because like when you travel, you're probably going to be more, dressed nicer just because you're traveling. And just go by yourself, and it's not as awkward, I promise. It sounds awkward to eat by yourself, but it's really not. No one cares about what you're doing. Once again, start going places by yourself. And I always tell people, you probably solo travel every day in your personal life, and you don't even realize it. You go grocery shopping by yourself. If you've ever been to the mall by yourself, that's all you're basically doing when you travel, besides some activities. You've already done those things by yourself. So just go ahead and take the leap of faith. You're going to be doing the same things abroad. It's just going to be a different environment. That's the advice that I always give. Overall, I would say that traveling as a Black woman has been very freeing experience, especially with what we go through in the States. I feel like the disrespect that we endure, it's really helped me a lot, being able to see how other people live in different countries and then incorporate that back. The peacefulness that I feel when I'm traveling, take that, what I've learned, and like implement it into my daily schedule, and the way that I view people has really helped me in my own personal life. For example, in Bali, you can tell they really value people and just peace and relaxation, whereas in the US it's all about the hustle and bustle. And even me, I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to time and being on time. So when I came back, it helped me a lot to just realize that I need to relax and take time for those massages and that self-care. And in Ghana, people really valued human connection. So when I came back, I took the time to talk to someone at the grocery store, even if I didn't know them. So things like that, it's really helped me. Like with things like racism, I'm better at blocking it out now and not getting mad at certain things, and really just taking what I've learned once again and implementing it here. What I've learned abroad is going to be completely different than what you will learn, but I think it's an experience that everyone needs to have. Like the freedom that you will feel internally is priceless. So I can talk about it all day long, but until you go and experience it for yourself, I can't really tell you what it's gonna be like for you. I hope this video was very helpful to everyone. If you need help taking that extra leap of faith to go ahead and go travel, go ahead and feel free to DM me. We can talk if you have more specific questions. I've already talked to so many people and helped them to go ahead and take that leap of faith, and it makes me so excited when people talk to me about their journey and where they're thinking of going. So you can either comment down below or DM me, and I would love to chat with y'all. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.